All right, so here's another video from our series of rehab projects we've done over the years. This one is actually going to be in Concord, North Carolina. So it was 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, which included a bonus room. It was built in 1996, so relatively new compared to a lot of our projects we've done in the past. It was a tract, basically like a tract home in an HOA development. So fairly cookie cutter and a little straightforward compared to a lot of projects we've done. It was on the larger size or larger scale, so it was 2,457 square feet. The seller situation, so basically it was a couple coming out of bankruptcy and they were looking to retire. I believe the husband had some issues with his business and it sort of suffered, and so some sort of a downfall with some things there from a financial standpoint. So, but they were looking to retire after coming through that or going through the bankruptcy, and they were basically close to underwater. There wasn't a whole lot of equity in the property. The property needed a lot of repairs to get it market ready. So they kind of felt like they were in a situation where they actually just wanted to let the property go. They didn't want to put the money into any kind of renovations. They didn't want to deal with realtors and showings and all these sort of things. And they were actually just going to let it go into foreclosure and then move to the beach and retire. So anyway, they had called me and we got in touch and we came up with kind of a creative solution. And basically I took over the payments on the property. So I became the legal owner. The mortgage was still in their name, and we came up with an agreement. And basically, I made all the payments to the bank, so they avoided any kind of foreclosure. And then when I worked on the property, or eventually got it all fully renovated, I was able to get it sold, and then the loan was all paid off. So it kind of worked out for both of us. So, like I said, we purchased as is. There was no repairs or anything like that needed. We covered all the buyer and seller closing costs, which they really liked. They left some of their last few belongings in the house. Like I said, we handed all the payments to the bank during the renovations, and once it sold, the loan was paid off and they avoided the foreclosure. So, renovation overview. Honestly, there was no major renovations on this particular property. It was mostly cosmetic updates. It was really just sort of deferred maintenance over the years. And there were certain elements of the home that were just subject to personal tastes that maybe weren't in line with today's general market, specs. So it was mostly cosmetic in nature. We updated electrical fixtures, updated plumbing fixtures. We just serviced the HVAC unit, so luckily we didn't have to do any kind of replacement there. No major structural issues. In terms of the kitchen and bathroom is probably where we spent the majority of our focus. So we painted the cabinets, we put in new quartz countertops in the kitchen, new stainless steel appliances, and then we did a new subway tile backsplash. In the bathrooms, they were fairly dated, so we did some minor updates. We painted the cabinets. We refinished the countertops in the bathrooms, and so that actually made a pretty big difference. There were 2 shower surrounds that were fairly dated looking, so we actually refinished those and gave them a bright new white look, and then we put in new toilets as well. As far as flooring went, so the house had a lot of tile in it in the downstairs area. So what we did was we ended up running LVP flooring all throughout basically the entire downstairs, I believe it was, and then a portion of the walking sort of hallway areas upstairs, and then all the bedrooms got carpet. On the exterior, wasn't a whole lot to do on the exterior, honestly. So we just basically pressure washed, did some minor painting. There was some wood railing and columns out front that had some faded paint and sort of deteriorated a little bit. So we reworked those and repainted them. Roof didn't need any repairs, and then windows. They were vinyl windows, but a lot of the seals had broken down over the years, so we ended up replacing the glass in a few of the sashes. All right, so before and after photos, starting with the exterior. All right, so this is basically right when I purchased the house. You can see my we buy houses mobile there. Not a whole lot to do on the outside, honestly. I guess some of the monkey grass was a little, gave it a little bit of a dated look, but this was after the professional photos once we got it sold. This is on the back patio. So they had basically like a hot tub out here in this little area, and the owner had built this actually a pretty nice little awning out there for entertainment purposes. So, but the downfall out here was this carpet. It was really worn and dirty, so we ended up tearing all that up. And it just gave it a nice clean look, getting rid of that. We actually installed a couple new lights up there too. When the owner left, he actually had some pretty nice ceiling fans up there, and he took those with him. So we ended up needing to put some new lights up. And just another view here from the other side. You can just see what cleaning it up did a lot for it. Another back view here. Okay, so going into the interior, starting with the foyer and the dining room. So you can see the paint scheme was a little dated for today's times, but you know what we did was we went with a color we really like to use, Sherwin-Williams Oyster White, and it's just it's a real just a small element of just like an off-white, and in certain lights it almost has a very light gray hue to it. So it kind of is in line with today's trends, I would say. So, but you can see it was a big difference, even just painting and then redoing the floors. You can see the tile there. That was like a wood plank style of tile. It just was sort of dingy. And so we ended up going with this new LVP. And what we did was we didn't want to rework the stair treads. So what we did was just basically try to match, we had to kind of search high and low to find this LVP that would work. We wanted something that was had some waterproof qualities to it because we knew we were going to run it in the laundry room and the kitchen as well. So it ended up matching up pretty well with the stair tread, so we didn't have to rework those. Kitchen. All right, so this kitchen was fairly dated. The cabinets were they were in pretty good shape. The appliances were pretty dirty and worn out. The backsplash was definitely had a dated look to it. But you can see the big transformation we did here. We basically ended up painting these cabinets. We did new quartz countertops, all new light fixtures, and obviously just painting in the rooms, and the new LVP flooring just made a huge difference. Brightened everything up. Like I said, brought it into today's trends. And then a close up here. So big transformation, just painting cabinets, backsplash, just a nice clean white palette with the stainless appliances. It goes a long way. All right, so the living room. All right, so this would be to the left of the entry door when you first walk in. Again, the wood style tile planks. There was a fireplace in this particular room that was. It's actually a double-sided fireplace, so there's kind of this little sitting area, living room on this side, and then maybe like a den, if you want to call it that, on the other side of the fireplace, and you can actually see through the fireplace. So you can see what we did. We cleaned this up, and we put a fair amount of work actually into the fireplace, getting it cleaned up. It had a green marble that was just really dated. This house was built back in 1996, and that was a popular trend back then. So we actually found some pretty good grade chalk paint, and then ended up sealing it, and it almost gave it like a slate look, but you can just see what that did for it, just cleaning it up. All right, so half bath. This is in the hallway, sort of going between the entry, passing back toward the kitchen and back of the house. So we didn't do a ton of work in here, honestly. We ended up painting. We did a new light fixture. We put in a new vanity. The pedestal sink there was sort of a faded yellow. It was just over time, I guess the elements sort of broke down and it became discolored. But anyway, not a lot of changes in here, but I think we did put in a new towel holder there. All right, so the den. And this is actually on the other side of that fireplace that I was talking about a couple of slides back. And so this is kind of a second living area, I would say. See a big transformation here. And we did actually put a pretty good bit of work into this room as well on some of the accents. So if you pay attention to those little nooks on the left, they actually had green marble countertops that matched the surrounds around the fireplace. So we knew we needed to do something about that. So we actually ended up putting in a butcher block, which turned out really great, and went with a stain to match the floors that we were going to go with. And this is just a close up of what we did with the dated green marble. And you can see this was shortly after we had just gave it, I think, the first coat of the gray sort of charcoal chalk paint. So, and we actually had taken this thing apart to clean the glass out because the running off natural gas had built up some white residue on the inside of the glass. So you can see a little bit of elbow grease really went a long way. All right, so here's a view of these sort of built-in niches. There was glass in the back and then the green marble countertops, and it just really had a dated look to it. So what we ended up doing was, of course, going with one of today's big trends, or what's recently been a trend, is the shiplap. So we did a shiplap accent in the back of these, did the butcher block, and then the doing the chalk paint on the fireplace surround there went a long way. Really made a big difference. Okay, so laundry room. So fairly straightforward here. Mostly just painting flooring in the laundry room area. And then just that door right there just leads up to the garage. All right, so master bedroom. When it gets down to bedrooms, it's usually gets to be pretty straightforward because it's mostly just going to be paint and flooring, and then maybe some hardware or something like that, or ceiling fans. So we ended up putting in a new ceiling fan in this case, new carpet, all new paint, but you can see it really brightened this room up. Master bath. Not a ton of work done in the master bath. We did put a lot of time into cleaning out the grout lines there. That's not supposed to be brown grout. It was actually more like a cream color, like you see on the walls in that back section there. That's the color the floor grout was supposed to be. So we put a lot of time into cleaning that up. We actually ended up refinishing these countertops. We ended up painting the cabinets. And it really made a big difference. Just cleaning it up, brightening it up. It's hard to tell from the photo, but that floor tile actually turned out really nice. We were able to get it cleaned up so that it matched the wall grout the way it's supposed to. Little sort of jacuzzi bathtub style there, or garden style tub, I mean. And you can't see it in this photo, but there's a shower surround behind this glass, and we actually ended up refinishing that as well, so it looked brand new when it was done. All right, so bedroom 2, again, it's mostly just going to be flooring and paint in these rooms. You can see really cleaned it up. Bedroom 3, same thing. Bedroom 4, same thing. This was a bonus room, and this room definitely needed some new paint. It had kind of some funky purple and lime green colors going on with it. It was a kid's room at one point, and the carpet actually in this room was pretty dirty. So we ended up redoing all that, and it really turned out nice. Hall bath. Similar to the master bath, we ended up painting the cabinet, or the vanity cabinet. We refinished the countertop. That's like a cultured style of countertops. We ended up refinishing those to brighten them up. We'll put a new mirror in, new toilet, and new lighting. And again, we refinished the surround. And you can actually see basically the full shot there with the nice wide angle lens that the photographer uses. But yeah, the surround, it was sort of an off-white. It's sort of broken down a little bit. So we were able to refinish that whole thing just like we did the countertop there. It really turned out well. All right, so that basically wraps it up. That was our sort of minor renovation we did in Concord. Luckily, we were able to help the homeowner out, and he was able to go into retirement and move down to the beach. And I was able to share these photos with him, and he was really happy with the way, or at least happy to see how it turned out at the end. So I do appreciate you taking the time to check out the video. We're a company that buys houses and land. So if you happen to know anyone that's looking to sell or has a house that needs major renovations or anything like that, feel free to reach out with any questions or to discuss your property or their property. You can reach us at 784-727-6161. You can email us at info@m1propertygroup.com. And you can also reach us through our web forums at www.m1propertygroup.com. I do appreciate you taking the time to check out the video.